Hi there, and thank you for joining me for another piece discussion video, this time looking at the piece #influencer from the series 21st Century Royalty. For a little context before we begin, the 21st Century Royalty series examines the archetypes or figureheads that we idolize or revere in the modern era, particularly those that have come to prominence as a result of social media. For a more in-depth look at the series overall, you'll find a link to a written overview of the series that I published in the description of this video. To begin, I want to first look at the title of this piece, #influencerza. The idea of an influencer is someone with a large following on social media that has an ability to influence the tastes or buying habits or trends of their audience. The hashtag is a knock at the cliche. It's become so desperately overused nowadays, a hashtag in social media, because of its search engine optimization qualities and the way that it sort of links things together on the internet, that again, it sort of makes a bit of a mockery of the whole idea of influencer in general. In many ways too, the idea of an influencer has become so associated with a hashtag that it almost becomes humorous and ironic at this point. Obviously, there's a bit of cheekiness in the additional za added as a sort of parenthetical suffix to influencer, as a way to reveal this sort of audible similarity between influencer and influenza. It's almost a slanted double entendre, if you will, and I wanted to do that in order to suggest the connection. Moving into the composition, this was the first piece in the 21st Century Royalty series, and so I wanted to establish a conventional throne setup for this series. So creating a figure in sort of a reclining, lovely visage look. Her pose is amicable and the expression blasé and frank because it's all part of the pageantry. Again, this was sort of my opening. This is sort of the curtain rising on the 21st Century Royalty series. And so I wanted to embrace a very regal position for the first piece. The pumpkin orange halo that surrounds the figure's head is a reference to the divinization that subjects would afford to a monarch and the way that individuals are revered by their subjects through loyalty and through reverence. The lower left of the composition suggests a numbers game. There are charts, trends, popularity, rises and falls, all of the constant numbers up and down. And the lower right is the hungry masses, the adoring fans, the seeking entourage. They are the ones that provide the backbone, the likes, the follow, all the support. They are the crowd that is influenced. Moving into the conceptual identity, the juxtaposition of influencer and influenza is obviously an effort to argue that influencers have a desperate hold on their audiences and can spread ideas like an infection. That quite literally, they have the ability to largely impact the ideas and thinking and mental well-being of those who admire them and those who follow them. And I think in many ways it's a negative sense. Just like influenza, it's something sort of inescapable, and it's something that anyone can fall victim to. Modern-day influencers hold a great responsibility because of their public position, yet I don't think they recognize this, and I think it often becomes a very reckless power. It's an uncomfortable amount of power in the culture, and it quite literally has the ability to infect the masses and infect the culture at large. It's all very much an approval contest that exists online. There's a constant vying for attention, for likes, for views, for anything to build an audience, which is part of why, again, the composition in this piece on the right side is meant to reflect that, and how it is the crowd that sort of is on the backbone of the figure in the way that the figure is rotated in the image as well. The figure's expression is as though it's yet another exercise in royal authority and nothing more, that here again she just simply has to put on her face for the audience, and that's all she really has to do. And I think it's to reveal a truth about social media and a truth about those influencers and those that we hold in high regard, because in all honesty, I don't really think there's much expectation from their audience apart from something as simple as just more and more content. I also wanted to capture a sort of let them eat cake sense of heedlessness in the figure's expression, that she, again, is just content with whatever they'll have because she's pleased with her position, she's pleased with her platform, and she knows that they desperately want her for no other reason but the fact that she influences their lives. There aren't too many references in this piece specifically. Again, being the first in the 21st Century Royalty series, I think it's only natural that references would come more later down in the series, but obviously likes, thumbs up, hearts are all references to social media and the different platforms that we utilize, and Facebook, Instagram, the natural things that are used symbolically. And then the pattern that appears on the throne behind the figure is meant to resemble that of the Louis Vuitton print. It's a very iconic print, and I deliberately wanted to use that as a subtle nod to how influencers oftentimes utilize their power to promote brands and make monies using brand deals. And obviously this is something that would go on to be much more deeply explored in the piece No Filter. I think I'll stop there for now. This was not meant to be an exhaustive look at the piece, #influencers, but I do hope it offers you a greater insight into it and ultimately deepens your connection with the piece. Thank you so much for watching, and please share with anybody else who might find this worthwhile. And until the next one, take care.